Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Precharine Nirvasesha Shunyavadi Paschacha Deshatarine Excuse me. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindhu bhaevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we're recounting the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and today we're talking about the Rath Yatra.
我们一直在讲的是 Chaitanya Mahaprabhu 的逍遥时光。今天上午我们讲到了弹车节。
So, when the chariot, at one particular point, the chariot of Lord Jagannath couldn't be moved. It just stopped. It wouldn't move.
那曾有一个扎格纳的弹车呢，就一动不动地停在了那里。
And the reason why Lord Jagannath didn't want the chariot to move was because Lord Jagannath wanted to watch the dancing of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
那弹车停在那里的原因呢，是主 Chaitanya， 是主扎格纳的想要观看主 Chaitanya Mahaprabhu 的舞蹈。
And also the other chariot of Lord Balaram and another chariot of Subhadra, they also were happy to see Lord Chaitanya dance.
另外，主巴拉代夫和苏巴哲马拉尼的弹车呢，也在那里停住了。他们两个看到 Chaitanya Mahaprabhu 的舞蹈，也非常的愉快。
And the devotees attending Rath Yatra, they could see how Lord Balaram and Subhadra Maharani were smiling at Lord Chaitanya's dancing.
参加弹车节的奉献者们可以观察到，巴拉代夫和苏巴哲马拉尼看到 Chaitanya Mahaprabhu 的舞蹈，都微笑了，笑了起来。
Lord Chaitanya would dance and he would jump very high into the air.
Chaitanya 在那里跳舞的时候呢，有的时候他就一下因为快乐，他跳到了半空当中。
And he would display 8 different kinds of symptoms of ecstasy in his body.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu 的身体会展示出8种极乐的征兆。
And all of the symptoms were visible at the same time.
这8种极乐的征兆是同时展现在他的躯体当中。
Some of the symptoms were his whole skin became goose pimples.
其中一个征兆就是他浑身上下起了鸡皮疙瘩。
And the hair of the body stood on end.
他毛发直竖。
And his body was like a silk cotton tree.
他的躯体好像是丝棉树。
And it was all covered with thorns.
正如丝棉树浑身上下呢都有这个尖尖的刺。
and his teeth would chatter.
他的牙齿打颤，
People thought that his teeth may all fall out.
人们都担心他的牙齿会掉出来。
His whole body was covered with perspiration,
他浑身上下流汗，
and at the same time blood was oozing.
与此同时，鲜血从他的毛孔当中渗出来。
And he would make sounds. Lord Caitanya would say sounds like ja ja ga ga, ja ja ga ga.
Chaitanya 他的口中就发出了喳喳嘎嘎、喳喳嘎嘎的声音，
His voice would be choked up with ecstasy.
他在狂喜当中，他会声音梗塞，
And tears were coming out of his eyes, just like water was coming out of a syringe.
眼泪从他的眼眶当中喷射而出，就好像是喷射器一样。
All the people near him, they were all covered with, they were all soaked by the tears from his eyes.
看着他四周的人，浑身上下都被他的泪水打湿了。
And everyone could see the color of his body. The color of his body changed from white to pink.
每个人都观察到他浑身上下的肤色从白皙的肤色转变成了粉红色。
And sometimes he would appear stunned, and sometimes he rolled on the ground.
有的时候他就会变得呆若木鸡，有的时候他会在地上打滚。
And sometimes his hands and legs would become as hard as like dry wood, and they did not move.
有时候他的双手和双腿就好像干木头一样，就动弹不了了。
When he would fall on the ground, sometimes his breathing would stop.
当他跌倒在地的时候，他的呼吸几乎就停止了。
When the devotees saw that, they were very afraid.
当奉献者看到这一幕的时候，他们都担心起来了。
And the water was flowing from his eyes, and sometimes was coming through his nostrils.
有的时候液体就会从他的眼中流出，还有的时候会从他的鼻孔流出液体。
And foam would fall from his mouth.
他会口吐白沫。
And when the foam fell from the mouth of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the one devotee, he came and he picked up that foam and he ate it.
当这个白色的泡沫从Caitanya Mahaprabhu的嘴中流出来的时候，有一位奉献者就上前双手捧住了这个白色的泡沫，就吃了下去。
That devotee was very expert he was very fortunate and very expert in taking advantage of this situation.
这位奉献者是极其幸运的，他特别擅长利用这个幸运的好机会。
And Lord Chaitanya after he'd been dancing for some time, then Lord Chaitanya began to think about the mood of ecstatic love.
这Chaitanya Mahaprabhu跳舞了一段时间，他的心意就进入了一种狂喜的爱的状态。
So Lord Chaitanya stopped dancing and he asked Swarup Damodar to sing.
就Chaitanya这时候就停止了舞步，他就要求Swarup Damodar开始歌唱。
So Swarup Damodar, he could understand the mind of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
领会Caitanya Mahaprabhu 的心意。
So he began to sing a special song which would increase Lord Chaitanya's ecstasy.
他这时候就会咏出一首特殊的歌曲，来增加Caitanya的极乐之情。
So he sang a song about Radharani meeting Krishna at Kurukshetra.
这首歌曲是有关于 Radharani 与 Krishna 在库尔之野战场上相会的情景。
Lord Krishna had come to Kurukshetra along with Balarama and Subhadra Maharani, his brother and sister. They'd all come there at the time of the solar eclipse.
主 Krishna 与他的哥哥 Balarama 以及妹妹 Subhadra Maharani 就在日食那一天呢，来到了库鲁之野。
So the song he was singing was a song of separation from Krishna.
这首歌曲描绘的是他们两个人的分离之情。
Because when Radharani met Krishna at Kurukshetra, she remembered about Krishna's association in Vrndavan.
因为当 Radharani 在战场上遇见 Krishna 的时候，他就回忆起他们在 Vrndavan 的联谊。
So she thought, now I have again got the Lord of my life.
Radharani 就说，现在我已经获得了我生命的主人。
Without him, I was burning in the fire of Cupid.
当 Krishna 不在的时候，我就在丘比特爱神的烈火当中焚烧着。
And I was withering away, I was drying up.
那个时候我就枯萎了。
But now I have my life again.
现在我又重获生命。
So when Lord Chaitanya heard this song, then Lord Chaitanya he began to dance in ecstasy.
当 Caitanya 听到这一首歌曲的时候，便在极乐当中又舞蹈了起来。
So the chariot of Lord Jagannath began to move very slowly because Lord Chaitanya was dancing in front.
主扎格纳的弹车节便开始缓缓的前行，因为主 Caitanya 就在弹车的前面跳着舞。
So when they were dancing and singing, all the devotees in front of Lord Jagannath, they kept their eyes on Lord Jagannath.
当所有的奉献者在弹车前面翩翩起舞、载歌载舞的时候，他们的眼睛都落在了主扎格纳的身上。
So Lord Chaitanya went to the back of the procession and he brought the Sankirtan devotees with him. They all went to the back of the procession.
其后 Caitanya Mahaprabhu 又带着Sankirtan的歌手们来到了弹车的后面，队伍的后面。
So Lord Chaitanya's eyes and mind were fully absorbed in Lord Jagannath.
此时此刻，主 Caitanya 的双眼和他的心意都完全专注在主扎格纳的身上。
So he began to play the drama of the song.
他便开始来演绎这首歌曲，他便用戏剧的形式来演绎这首歌曲。
So sometimes Lord Chaitanya would fall behind in the procession.
有的时候 Caitanya 会就是在游行队伍它的速度要缓慢。
So when Lord Chaitanya would fall behind, then Lord Jagannath would stop. He wouldn't go forward.
当主 Caitanya 他落在后面的时候，主 Jagannath 便让弹车停了下来。
And when Lord Chaitanya came forward, then Lord Jagannath would begin to roll again.
当 Caitanya Mahaprabhu 跟上了这个队伍的时候，主 Jagannath 的弹车便又继续缓缓的前行。
So there was like a competition between Lord Chaitanya and Lord Jagannath.
这就好像是一场主 Caitanya Mahaprabhu 与主 Jagannath 之间的竞争。
With both Lord Chaitanya and Lord Jagannath wanted to lead. So who should lead?
主 Caitanya 和主 Jagannath 都想引领这个弹车的队伍，但是谁能够当引领者呢？
So he made Lord Chaitanya made Lord Jagannath wait. He had to wait.
就这样，主 Caitanya 使得主 Jagannath 不得不停下来，等待他。
Just like after Krishna left the Gopis and went off to Dwarka, then after some time Krishna went to Kurukshetra, and at that time he met all the people from Vrndavan again.
像当初Krishna 去了朵尔卡之后，过了一段时间，他到了库尔赤野，然后他就在那里遇见了来自Vrndavan的居民们。
So Lord Chaitanya, he is in the mood of Radharani.
主 Caitanya 就处在 Radharani 的心态当中。
And Lord Chaitanya is Krishna, but he's in the mood of Radharani.
虽然主 Caitanya 就是 Krishna 本人，但是他却怀着 Radharani 的心态。
Because he wants, as Radharani, he wants to understand Krishna.
因为他以 Radharani 的角色，他想去理解 Krishna。
And Lord Jagannath is Krishna.
而主 Jagannath 就是主 Krishna。
And Lord Chaitanya is Radharani.
而主 Caitanya 是 Radharani 心态。
So when Lord Chaitanya is leading Lord Jagannath, they're going to the Gundicha temple, then it's like Radharani leading Krishna to Vrindavan.
所以当主 Caitanya 带领着主 Radharani 带领着主 Jagannath 前往古迪城庙的时候，闭幕就好像是 Radharani 在引领着 Krishna 回到Vrindavan。
Right? The big temple of Lord Jagannath, that is like Dwarka.
Jagannath 庙就好像是朵尔卡一样。
That's where Krishna enjoys all of his opulence.
Krishna 在那里享受着富裕。
But Lord Jagannath is being led by Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya is taking him to Vrindavan.
但是这时候Jagannath 却被主 Caitanya 带领着要去 Vrindavan。
And in Vrindavan, all the village people, they're very simple people, but they have great love for Krishna.
Vrindavan 的人们，他们都是心地单纯的人们，但是他们对 Krishna 怀着巨大的爱。
Jagannath Puri is the place of opulence.
Jagannath Puri 是一个富裕之地。
It's the place where there's Aishwarya Lila.
Jagannath Puri 是上演 Aishwarya Lila， 就是富裕的消时光的地方。
And Vrindavan is the place of Madhurya Lila, the place of sweetness.
而 Vrindavan 是上演 Madhya Lila， 甜美的消时光的地方。
So when Lord Chaitanya is at the back of the Rath Yatra, when he's coming behind at the back, this indicates that Lord Jagannath, who is Krishna, was forgetting about the people of Vrindavan.
当主 Caitanya 来到坛车后面，这就好像是表明主 Jagannath 他就是 Krishna 本人，他正在忘记 Vrindavan 的人们。
Now, Krishna neglected the inhabitants of Vrindavan.
Krishna 忽视了 Vrindavan 的居民们，
But he could not forget them.
但是他却无法将他们忘怀。
So during the Rath Yatra, he was coming back to Vrindavan.
所以就在坛车节这个节日上呢，他们就返回 Vrindavan。
And Lord Caitanya is in the mood of Radharani.
而主 Caitanya 是处在 Radharani 心态当中，
And he's examining the mood of Lord Jagannath, who is Krishna. He wants to see if Krishna is still remembering the people of Vrindavan.
他就在检验 Jagannath 就是 Krishna， 看他是否还记得 Vrindavan 的人们。
When Lord Chaitanya would fall behind the chariot, then Krishna would understand the mind of Radharani.
当主 Caitanya 在坛车的后面落在了坛车的后面的时候，
At that
他
time,
就好像那时候就好像他在检验主 Jagannath。
no. At that time, when Lord Chaitanya would fall behind Jagannath, at that time, Krishna would think about Radharani.
Sorry， 当时候当主 Caitanya 在车后面来到了车后面的时候，这时候 Krishna 就想起了 Radharani。
So sometimes Lord Jagannath would fall behind Lord Chaitanya.
有的时候主 Jagannath 就在主 Caitanya 的后面。
But that shows that Radharani, that shows to Radharani that Lord Jagannath or Lord Krishna has not forgotten her.
这就向 Radharani 表明 Krishna 并没有忘记他。
And then Lord Jagannath would stop, he wouldn't go forward, and he'd wait for Lord Chaitanya.
那时候主 Jagannath 就会停下来，他不再往前走，他会等待主 Caitanya。
So Lord Jagannath cannot move without the association, without the ecstasy of Radharani.
没有了 Radharani 的狂喜，主 Jagannath 他就不再往前走。
Yeah, he was not satisfied without Radharani.
在没有 Radharani 的情况下，他的心不会感到满足。
So when Lord Jagannath was watching Lord Chaitanya, and Lord Chaitanya is in the ecstasy of Radharani, then Lord Jagannath would come forward.
当主 Jagannath 他注视着 Caitanya， 而 Caitanya 是处在 Radharani 的狂喜当中，这时候 Caitanya 就会 Lord Caitanya would move forward.
Yeah.
Come forward, right?
Lord Jagannath would move forward.
这时候主 Jagannath 他会继续往前走。
So this was the competition between Lord Jagannath and Lord Chaitanya.
这就是主 Jagannath 和主 Caitanya 之间的一种竞争。
It was like a love affair between Krishna and Radharani.
这就好比是 Krishna 和 Radharani 之间的恋情。
So we had Lord Chaitanya, who is Radharani, in his ecstasy for Krishna, who's Jagannath. And Jagannath, he's in ecstasy for Radharani.
Caitanya 他就是 Radharani 的心态，他就处在对 Krishna 的狂喜当中，而 Jagannath 就是 Krishna， 而另外一方面，Jagannath 也处在对 Radharani 的狂喜之情当中。
But Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would be always successful.
但是 Chaitanya Mahaprabhu 总是胜出。
So he would dance in ecstasy, and he'd put his two arms up in the air, and then he would recite a nice verse in a loud voice.
当 Chaitanya Mahaprabhu 跳舞的时候，他就会高举双臂，他就会在以高声的吟诵如驾的诗节。
So Lord Chaitanya, remember, he's in the mood of Radharani, so he's talking like Radharani would talk about Krishna.
因为主 Chaitanya 是处在 Radharani 的心绪当中，他这时候说话的口吻就好像是 Radharani 在对 Krishna 说话。
So he said, that person who stole away my heart during my youth is again my master.
他说道，那个在我年轻的时候偷走了我的心的那个人，现在他又是我的主人了。
He said, these are the same moonlight nights in the month of Chaitra.
这些是 Chaitra 月当中同样的，月光皎洁的夜晚。
And the same fragrance of the malati flowers is there.
麻拉提鲜花的芬芳还在空中弥漫。
And the same breeze, the sweet breeze, is coming from the Kadamba forest.
来自卡当巴森林当中，飞拂着同样的微风，甜蜜的微风。
And I am the same lover. I'm the same person who he loved.
我是那位同一位他所爱的爱人。
But I'm not happy here.
我在这里并不快乐。
I'm eager to go back to the bank, to the side of the river.
我渴望回到 river 河的岸边。
And under the Vitasi tree, that is my desire. That's where I want to be.
我渴望去 Vitasi 树下，那是我想去的地方。
So Lord Chaitanya would say this verse again and again, but nobody could understand what he was talking about.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu 就会一次又一次的反反复复的唱着这个诗节，但是没有人明白他的心意。
So, in the past, all the Gopis of Vrndavan were very happy to meet with Krishna.
以前文达文的全体牧牛姑娘和 Krishna 相遇的时候，都非常的高兴。
They met Krishna at Kurukshetra. They hadn't seen him for a long time.
因为他们和 Krishna 分离了很长时间，现在他们在 Kurukshetra 又重新遇见了 Krishna。
So in the same way, Lord Chaitanya, he saw Lord Jagannath, just like the Gopis saw Krishna.
所以同样的方式，是 Krishna Chaitanya， 他就像 Gopi 们遇见 Krishna 感到快乐那样，他见到主 Jagannath， 他内心怀着巨大的喜悦。
So Lord Chaitanya spoke to Jagannath. He told Lord Jagannath, he said, you are the same Krishna and I am the same Radharani.
主 Chaitanya 就这样对主加甘纳的说话：你是同一位 Krishna， 而我是同一位 Radharani。
We're meeting again in the same way.
我们又以同样的方式重逢了。
Just like when we met at the beginning, when we were young people in the beginning of our lives.
就像我们年轻的时候在一起相聚那样。
So although we're both the same, my mind is still attracted to Vrindavan.
虽然我们都是同样的人，都是同一位，但是我的心意仍然被文达文所吸引。
So I wish that you would bring your lotus feet to Vrindavan.
我希望您能将您的莲花足踏在文达文地上。
Here in Kurukshetra, there are crowds of people.
在这里，在库尔之野，人群熙攘，
And there's elephants and horses and so many chariots making a lot of noise.
有许许多多大象、战马、战车发出隆隆的声音。
But in Vrindavan, there are flower gardens, and the humming of the bees and the chirping of the birds.
而在文达文，到处都有花园，蜜蜂嗡嗡作响，鸟儿吱的鸣叫。
And here at Kurukshetra, you're dressed like a royal prince.
在库尔之野这里，你的穿着是一位王子的穿着。
And you've come with so many big warriors.
你还带着那些伟大的战将。
But in Vrindavan, you're just like an ordinary cowherd boy.
而在文达文，你就像一个普通的牧牛童。
And you come along with your flute.
你还随身携带着你笛子。
So here in Kurukshetra, I don't get even a drop of the ocean of happiness I got in Vrindavan.
在这里，在库尔之野，我甚至品尝不到一滴像我在文达文所品尝到的快乐。
So I want you to come back to Vrindavan and enjoy pastimes with me there.
我希望你跟我回到文达文，跟我在那里享受逍遥时光。
So in that mood, Lord Caitanya would recite these verses. But ordinary people, they could not understand the meaning.
主 Chaitanya 是以这样的心态涌出的这些诗节，但是普通人听了却不能够理解。
Swarup Damodar, he could understand the meaning, but he didn't tell anybody.
斯瓦鲁达莫达尔可以理解其中的深意，但是他没有透露给别人。
But Rupa Goswami, he understood and he told people, he explained it to people.
但是 Rupa Goswami 明白这里头的含义，所以他把它揭示给了其他人。
So Lord Caitanya, when he would dance, he would recite a verse which he enjoyed to recite.
当主 Chaitanya 跳舞的时候，他背诵了一个诗节，这个诗节他非常的喜欢。
He was speaking a verse which was spoken by the Gopis.
他讲的这个诗节是由牧牛姑娘所唱出的诗节。
So the Gopis are saying to Krishna that your navel is just like a lotus flower.
牧牛姑娘这样对 Krishna 说道：“你的肚脐就好像一朵莲花，
And your lotus feet are the only shelter for those who have fallen into material existence.
对于那些落入 物质存在的黑景当中的人，你的莲花足是他们唯一的庇护所。
And your feet are worshipped and meditated upon by great yogis and philosophers.
你的莲花足受到那些伟大的玄秘瑜伽师和高度博学的哲学家们所崇拜以及冥想。
So we would like that your lotus feet also will be awakened in our heart.
我们希望您的莲花足也同样在我们的内心唤醒。
Although we are only ordinary people, we're just doing household affairs.
尽管我们都是普通人，每天忙着家务事。
So the gopis, they never had any interest in karma yoga or dhyana yoga or meditation.
所以牧牛姑娘对夜报瑜伽、思辨瑜伽或者冥想从来不感兴趣。
They were only interested in bhakti yoga.
牧牛姑娘只对奉爱瑜伽感兴趣。
And they didn't like to just meditate on the lotus feet of Krishna.
而且他们也对于仅仅冥想 Krishna 的莲花足并不太热衷。
They would like to take his lotus feet and put them on their breast.
他们只想，把 Krishna 的莲花足缝起来放在自己的胸脯上。
But they were afraid that their breasts were maybe too hard for Krishna's soft lotus feet.
但是他们又担心自己的胸脯对于 Krishna 的柔嫩的莲花足而言又太过于坚硬。
If Krishna's feet would be pricked on the sand or the dust or the thorns on the ground, if they would prick Krishna's feet, then the gopis would feel the pain and they would feel very sorry.
当 Krishna 的莲花足踩在Vrndavan的泥土、沙石或者荆棘上的时候，牧牛姑娘担心会刺痛 Krishna 的莲花足，他们会感到非常的难过、伤心。
Gopis wanted to keep Krishna at home.
Gopi 牧牛姑娘只想把 Krishna 留在家中。
This is the Krishna consciousness mood of the Gopis of Vrndavan.
这是Vrndavan的牧牛姑娘的 Krishna 知觉的心态。
So Lord Caitanya was in this ecstasy of the Gopis. So he was saying in the mood, he was speaking in the mood of Radharani.
所以Caitanya Mahaprabhu就处在牧牛姑娘的狂喜的心绪当中，他是以 Radharani 的口吻在说话。
So he said, for most people, the mind and the heart are one.
所以Caitanya Mahaprabhu说，对于大部分人而言，心意和心是一样的。
But because my mind is never separated from Vrndavan, I think my mind and Vrndavan are the same.
但是由于我的心意从来不能跟Vrndavan分开，所以我认为我的心意和Vrndavan是一致的。
And so since you, Krishna, you like Vrndavan, you should place your lotus feet there. And I will think that's your greatest mercy.
既然 Krishna 你那么爱Vrndavan，那么就请你把莲花足踏在Vrndavan的泥土上。我认为这是你的仁慈。
So it's the nature of the mind to accept whatever things we like and reject what we don't like.
心意的本性就是会接受他所喜欢的，排斥他不喜欢的事物。
But when we fix our mind on Krishna, then our mind becomes as good as Vrindavan.
倘若我们将心意专注于 Krishna， 那我们的心意就像Vrindavan一样好。
And wherever Krishna is, there must be Radharani and the Gopis and the cowherd boys and all the people of Vrindavan.
无论 Krishna 在哪里，那里就一定会有牧牛姑娘、牧牛童和 Vrindavan 的全体其他的居民们。
So when we fix our mind on Krishna and our mind becomes Vrindavan, then all the other things, all friends of Krishna, they're also there.
当我们将心意专注于Krishna 的时候，那我们的心意就和 Vrindavan 是一样的。那 Krishna 他也在 Vrindavan。
And we will always live in Vrindavan. We won't want to live anywhere else.
我们就只想永远居住在 Vrindavan， 不想居住在别的地方。
So Lord Caitanya is speaking like Radharani, and he's saying, "My dear Lord," he said, "my home is Vrindavan."
Caitanya 就继续以 Radharani 的口吻继续说道：“我亲爱的主，我的家在 Vrindavan。”
And I want to get your association there.
我希望在那里得到您的联谊。
But if I don't get it, then it will be very difficult for me to keep my life.
倘若我得不到的话，那么我就难以保此生。
So if we want to get the association of Krishna, we have to first give up all the material designations.
倘若我们要得到 Krishna 的联谊，就要放弃所有物质的头衔称号。
So the mind has to give up all the material things, but the mind cannot be vacant. There has to be something in the mind.
心意必须要放弃物质的事物，然而心意却不能是一片空虚，心意必须要有所从事。
So we have to fill our mind with thought of Krishna and feelings of Krishna and a desire to serve Krishna.
所以我们必须将心意充满对 Krishna 的思念，对 Krishna 的情感，以及服务 Krishna 的愿望。
So we have to give up all the material activities, and we should have the desire to always think of Krishna.
我们必须将物质的活动一并放弃，但是我们必须要希望能够想着 Krishna。
There has to be some enjoyment for the mind, and we can get that enjoyment with Krishna.
心意也必须要有所享乐，那么我们可以通过想着 Krishna 得到这种享乐。
Without Krishna, we cannot live.
没有 Krishna， 我们也活不下去。
So then Lord Caitanya says to Krishna, because Lord Chaitanya is in the mood of Radharani, he says, "My dear Krishna, in the past you were staying in Mathura and you sent Uddhava to teach me."
Chaitanya 就又对 Krishna 说话，他是以 Radharani 的口吻就对 Krishna 说：“我亲爱的 Krishna， 以前你是居住在 Mathura， 你派 Uddhava 来教导我。”
And you wanted him to teach me mystic yoga and speculative knowledge.
您希望他教导我思辨知识以及玄秘瑜伽。
But my mind doesn't accept it.
但是我的心意却不接受。
There's no place in my mind for these things.
在我的心意里，对于这些事物来说，他们没有一席之地。
You know me very well, but still you're trying to teach me all these things It's not right for you to do this.
您对我了解的十分清楚，但是您仍然想要教导我这些知识。对于您来讲，这么做是不正确的。
A devotee has no interest in mystic yoga or speculative knowledge.
对于奉献者而言，他们对于玄秘瑜伽和推敲的知识不感兴趣。
What a devotee should do, a devotee should worship the deity and he should engage in the Lord's service.
奉献者应该从事于服务神像。
And serve the deity is just like serving Krishna directly.
服务神像就相当于直接在服务 Krishna。
The deity is an incarnation of Krishna. It comes in this material world.
神像就是 Krishna 的化身，降临到这个物质的世界。
So there's no difference between Krishna in the deity form and Krishna in the spiritual world.
以物质形象出现的 Krishna 和在灵性世界的 Krishna 二者没有区分。
For Krishna, there's no difference between matter and spirit.
对于 Krishna 而言，物质和灵性二者之间没有区分。
So when Krishna comes in the elements of the deity, maybe wood or maybe metal, these elements become spiritual.
所以当 Krishna 以这个物质元素的形式出现，比如说木头或者金属的形式 ，Krishna 仍然是灵性的。
So we worship the deity, we have direct contact with Krishna.
当我们崇拜神像的时候，都是在直接接触 Krishna。
So devotees don't have any interest in meditation or yoga practice or mental speculation.
奉献者对于冥想、瑜伽练习和心智推敲都没有兴趣。
So then Lord Caitanya says, I would like to take my consciousness from you and engage it in material activities.
Caitanya Mahaprabhu 就继续说，我想要把我的心意从您身上撤回，让我的心意从事于物质的活动。
But even though I try, I cannot do it.
可是尽管我努力的这么去做了，但是却不能够成功的这么去做。
I have a natural attraction to you only.
我自然而然的，我的心只放在您的身上。
So it's madness for you to think that I'm going to meditate on you.
如果您讲我应该去冥想您，那么您这样去做，这么认为，那就是疯了。
Don't kill me. You're trying to kill me.
不要杀了我，你这样做简直就是杀了我。
It is not good for you to think that I'm your student and take instructions from you.
如果你认为我是你的学生，或者是我可以从您那里接受教导，这样您这么做就不好了。
So a devotee cannot do this kind of mystic yoga and mental speculation. He wants Krishna and Krishna's service.
对于奉献者们，他们是无法从事瑜伽练习或者是培养推敲的知识，他们只想要 Krishna， 想要服务 Krishna。
So the Gopis are not like mystic yogis.
牧牛姑娘她们并不 像那些玄秘瑜伽师。
They will never be satisfied just by meditation.
他们永远不会仅仅满足于冥想。
Even they're meditating on your lotus feet or imitating the yogis, it's not going to satisfy them.
即便他们让他们冥想您的莲花足，或者是像模仿瑜伽师那样，永远不会让他们感到满足。
So to teach the gopis about meditation, this is just duplicity.
所以教导Gopi们冥想，这是虚伪的。
You're telling them to do mystic yoga practice, they're not satisfied. They become angry with you.
您教导他们要从事于玄秘瑜伽的练习，他们一点儿也不满足，他们会越来越对你气恼。
When somebody is a pure devotee, and then they become when somebody is a pure devotee, the thought of becoming one with Krishna is hellish to them.
当一个成为了纯粹的奉献者的话，那么如果让他们与您合一的话，那他们来说简直就是地狱。
And trying to the mystic yoga practice to control the senses, this is also foolish for pure devotees.
而那种试图控制感官的玄秘瑜伽修习，对于奉献者而言，这种做法也是愚蠢的。
Because devotees' mind and senses are all engaged in the service of Krishna.
因为奉献者的心意和感官已经在从事着为 Krishna 做服务。
So the mind and senses, there's no possibility that they will think about doing anything material.
所以心意和感官不可能再从事任何物质的活动。
And the same way a devotee is not interested to go to the heavenly planets, because the heavenly planets are also material.
奉献者们他们也不想去天堂星宿，因为对他们来说那里也是物质的。
It's a temporary thing. The devotee wants devotional service eternally.
因为那也是短暂的事物，而奉献者希望永远的从事奉爱服务。
So in Vrndavan, the gopis and the cowherd boys, and even the cows and the trees and the water, everything is fully conscious of Krishna.
在Vrndavan，母牛姑娘、母牛、树木和河水都是完全有 Krishna 知觉的。
So they're never satisfied with anything except Krishna.
除了 Krishna 之外，没有任何事物能让他们感到满足。
So the Caitanya Mahaprabhu said that the gopis have fallen into the ocean of separation, and they're being swallowed by the big Timingala fish.
Caitanya Mahaprabhu又继续说道，牧牛姑娘们都堕入了分离的巨大汪洋当中，她们正在被一名基拉鱼所吞噬。
The gopis should be saved from from this fish, because they are your devotees, they're your pure devotees.
应当从这些一名基拉鱼的口中拯救这些牧牛姑娘，因为她们都是您的纯粹奉献者。
So why should they even think about liberation?
为什么他们还要去思考解脱呢？
The gopis, they don't want liberation like the yogis and the gyanis.
牧牛姑娘们并不像那些瑜伽师或者思辨家那样渴望解
The Gopis are already liberated from the ocean of material existence.
牧牛姑娘们已经超脱了物质存在的汪洋。
So in bodily life, if we think we're the body, we want to enjoy the material world.
所以，当一个人有着物质躯体的时候，在这种生活当中，他是享受物质的世界。
But that is not real life. Real life is to be the servant of Krishna.
那并不是真实的生活，真实的生活是做 Krishna 的仆人。
So we can never be happy by advancing materially.
我们永远不能透过在物质上取得进步而感到快乐。
If our senses are uncontrolled, we will simply go to hellish life.
倘若感官未受到控制的话，那么就会堕入到地狱的生活当中。
So the conditioned souls, they see the duration of life is just for sense gratification, just for eating and sleeping and mating and defending.
受条件限制的灵魂们，在他们眼里，他们的寿命只是从事于吃睡、交配和防卫。
So in the animal species, they do the same thing.
但是在动物的种族当中，他们也从事着同样的活动。
So this is just a waste of the human form of life.
那么这个只是对人体生命的一个浪费。
So we should endeavor for the service of Krishna, and then we can get real liberation.
我们应该努力的从事于为 Krishna 做服务，这样才能得到真正的解脱。
So Lord Caitanya said, it's amazing that you have forgotten the land of Vrndavan. Because he's Radharani speaking to Krishna, so he's saying, it's amazing you have forgotten the land of Vrndavan.
Chaitanya 他仍然是以 Radharani 的口吻继续说道：“您已经将温达文这片土地遗忘了，这太令人惊讶了。”
And how is it you've forgotten your father and your mother and your friends?
您怎么能遗忘您的父亲、母亲和朋友们呢？
And how have you forgotten the Govardhan Hill and the Yamuna River and the forests where you enjoyed rasa dance?
您又如何能够遗忘戈尔丹山、雅木的河岸，以及您享受 rasa 之舞的森林呢？
Oh, Krishna, you are certainly a gentleman with all good qualities.
Krishna 呀，您无疑是一位拥有一切美好品质的绅士。
You're well behaved and soft-hearted and merciful.
您举止优雅，心地柔软，仁慈有加。
I know there's no fault to be found in you.
我知道您身上没有丝毫缺陷。
But your mind doesn't remember the people of Vrndavan. This is misfortune.
但是您的心意却没有想起本达文的居民们，这是我的不幸。
I don't care for my personal happiness.
我并不在乎我自己的快乐。
But when I see the face of Mother Yasoda and how sad she is, and when I see the hearts of all the people of Vrindavan, how their hearts are breaking because of you, then I wonder whether you want to kill all of us.
但是当我看见母亲亚收的悲伤的面孔，当我看到温达文居民的心都碎了的时候，我在想，你是不是想要 把我们都杀死呢？
Or do you want to enliven us by coming here?
还是您希望来到这里，让我们重新焕发生机呢？
Why are you keeping us alive in this kind of suffering?
您为什么让我们在这般痛苦的状态下还依然活着呢？
The people of Vrndavan, they don't want to see you dressed like a prince.
本达文的居民们可不希望看见您的穿着像一位王子。
And we don't want to see you in a company of the great warriors from foreign places.
我们也不希望看见您身边带着那些外国的、来自异域的那些伟大的战将们。
The people of Vrndavan cannot leave Vrndavan.
本达文的人们，他们离不开本达文这片土壤。
And without you being here in Vrindavan, without your presence, they're all dying.
但是你不在，他们都在慢慢的死去。
Dear Krishna, you are the life and soul of Vrindavan.
亲爱的 Krishna， 你是本达文的生命与灵魂。
And you're the life of Nanda Maharaj.
您可是南大大军的命根子。
You're the only opulence in the land of Vrindavan.
您是本达文这片大地上唯一的富裕。
You're very merciful.
您非常仁慈。
Please come and let all the people of Vrindavan live.
来吧，快来吧，让所有本达文的居民们继续活下去吧。
Keep your lotus feet in Vrindavan.
请将您的莲花足踏上本达文的土地。
So we should understand Srimati Radharani is not talking about her own unhappiness.
我们应当理解 Srimati Radharani 并非在表达她个人的不快。
She wants to bring out Krishna's feelings for the condition of all the people in Vrindavan.
她希望唤醒 Krishna 对于本达文所有其他人内心的情感。
Mother Yashoda, Nanda Maharaj, the cowherd boys, the gopis, and the birds and the bees.
妈妈亚收的南大大军，牧牛姑娘们，那里的鸟儿和蜜蜂。
Everything associated with Krishna in Vrindavan.
在本达文与 Krishna 联谊的万事万物。
So these feelings of Radharani were manifest. This was the mood of Lord Caitanya.
所以 Radharani 的这份情感，就是Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu 的心态。
So he was inviting Lord Jagannath, who is Krishna, to come to Vrindavan.
所以他就这样邀请主 Jagannath， 就是主 Krishna 本人，去返回到本达文。
This is the purport of the Rati Adra.
这就是弹车节的要旨。
This is why we bring the chariot from Jagannath Puri to the Gundija temple.
正是因为这个原因，人们把Jagannath从Jagannath庙里带到贡地察庙。
So after hearing Radharani's words, Lord Krishna, he has to reply.
听了 Radharani 的这番话，Krishna 必须要作答。
Lord Krishna had been hearing about how the Vrajbasi people love him so much. So he thought he thought himself to be very grateful. He has so much to repay the people of Vrindavan because they gave him so much love. So he has to repay his debt to them.
当他听说了文达文的所有的居民们对他的深深的爱意，他就觉得自己是必须要报答文达文居民们对他的这份爱。
And he has to pacify the mind of Radharani.
他也必须要安抚 Radharani 的心态、心意。
And so Lord Krishna says to Radharani, he said, Radharani, please hear me. He said, I cry day and night, simply remembering all you people of Vrindavan.
Krishna 对 Radharani 说：“我亲爱的 Radharani， 请听我说。一想起文达文的全体居民们，我日日夜夜的以泪洗面。”
Nobody knows how unhappy this makes me.
没有人知道，这让我多么的闷闷不乐。
Actually, Krishna never goes away from Vrindavan. He's always in Vrindavan.
事实上 ，Krishna 从来没有离开过文达文，他永远都在文达文。
But in order to take care of some duties, Krishna had to go to Mathura, he had to kill Kamsa.
但是仅仅为了履行职责，他必须要去马图拉去杀死康萨。
And then his father took him to Dwarka, where he was busy with the affairs of the state there, because different demons would come sometimes and attack, so Krishna would be busy.
随后呢，他的父亲又将他带到了图尔卡，因为他在那里忙于政务，他也必须要处理恶魔们制造的骚乱。
And so Krishna was away from Vrindavan, he was not happy, and he tells Radharani that.
所以 Krishna 就这样远离了文达文，然而他内心一点也不快乐，所以他就这样向 Radharani 坦白。
She is the life and soul of Lord Krishna.
她是主 Krishna 的生命与灵魂。
So Krishna says, all the people of Vrindavan, my father, my mother, the cowherd boys and everything, they're like my life and soul.
所以 Krishna 就这样继续对他说：所有文达文的居民们，我的父母，我的牧牛童朋友，一切都是我的生命与灵魂。
And among all these people, the Gopis are the most dear to me.
在所有这些人当中，牧牛姑娘是我最亲爱的人。
And among all the Gopis, you, Srimati Radharani, are the chief. You are the very life of my life.
而在所有牧牛姑娘当中，你 Radharani 是为首的，你就是我生命的生命。
So Radharani is the center of all of Vrindavan activities.
所以 Radharani 是文达文活动的中心。
And people in Vrindavan, they always chant the name of Radharani. They will say, Jai Radhe.
文达文的人们时刻的在唱诵 Radha 的名字 Jai Radhe。
So Radharani is actually, she's the queen of Vrindavan, and Krishna is just her decoration.
在文达文 Radharani 是文达文的皇后，而 Krishna 仅仅是她的事物。
Krishna is Madan Mohan, he attracts Cupid.
Krishna 被称为 Madan Mohan， 是爱神丘比特。
But Radharani, she attracts Krishna.
而 Radharani 甚至吸引了 Krishna。
So she is Madan Mohan Mohini.
她是 Madan Mohan Mohini。
So Krishna tells Radharani, I'm always controlled by your loving affairs.
Krishna 就对 Radharani 倾诉道：“我时刻总是从属于你的爱恋之情。”
And being separate from you and living far away from you it's only due to that's only just my misfortune.
与你分离，并且与你相隔万里，这只是我的巨大的不幸。
When a woman is separated from the man she loves, or the man is separated from the woman he loves, then neither of them can live.
当一位女人与她所爱的男子分开，或者是一位男子与他心爱的女子分开，他们两个人都无法活下去。
They live only for each other.
他们的生命是为了对方而活着。
And if one dies and the other hears of it, then the other person will die also.
倘若一个人死去，而另外一个人听说了这个消息之后，他也会死去。
So a loving, chaste wife and a loving husband, they always think of each other.
所以，一位满怀爱意的忠贞的妻子和一位满怀爱意的丈夫，他们总是思念着对方。
They don't think of their own happiness, they think of the other person's happiness.
他们并不会顾及自己的快乐，他们只是想着对方的快乐。
So when the couple is like that, then certainly they'll meet again without too much time.
倘若一对伴侣是这种情况的话，那么无疑他们在不久的将来会再次重逢。
So Krishna says to Radharani, "You're very dear to me, and I know that in my absence you cannot live without me."
Krishna 对 Radharani 说：“你是我最亲爱的人，我知道当我不在的时候，你片刻都活不下去。”
So to keep you living, I worship Lord Narayan.
所以，为了让你继续活下去，我就崇拜了主 Narayana。
And by the power of Lord Narayan, I come to Vrndavan every day to enjoy pastimes with you.
藉着 Narayan 的力量，我可以每天都来到 Vrndavan， 和你享受逍遥时光。
And then I return to Dwarka.
随即我又返回到 Dwarka。
So you can always feel my presence in Vrindavan.
你这样就能总是感受到我在 Vrndavan 的临在。
So our loving affair is very powerful because of Lord Narayan's blessings.
由于主 Narayan 的祝福，我们之间的恋情总是强有力的。
This allows me to be unseen by others.
这也允许我不被别人可以看见。
But I hope very soon I'll be visible to everyone.
但是我希望很快每个人就能够亲眼看见我。
So Krishna has two potencies. One is which is manifest and the other is unmanifest.
Krishna 有两类能量，一类是展示了的，另外一个是不展示的。
So they're the same for an advanced devotee.
对一位进步的奉献者，他们是一样的。
Even if Krishna is not present, the devotee, because he's so absorbed in thinking of Krishna, he can feel Krishna's presence.
即便 Krishna 并没有亲自在那里，但是因为奉献者专注，因为奉献者的专注，他能够使得他 总是在那里。
Yeah, when Krishna is not visible to the people of Vrindavan, but they're always thinking of him.
当文达文的居民们看不见 Krishna 的时候，他们却时时刻刻在思念他。
So although Krishna was living in Dwarka, he was also present in Vrindavan.
即便 Krishna 是生活在 Dwarka， 但是他在文达文，他仍然在文达文。
But that was in his unmanifest form.
但是这是 Krishna 以他展示的形象，处在文达文。
But those devotees, they'll soon see Krishna.
但是那样的奉献者，不久就能亲眼看见 Krishna。
They'll soon go back home, back to Godhead, and then they will see Krishna directly.
他们不久就能回归家园，回归神手，并且他们能够直接的看见 Krishna。
So the pure devotee is always speaking of Krishna and trying to serve Krishna, and when he gives up his body, he goes back to Krishna.
纯粹的奉献者总是努力的去看见 Krishna， 服务 Krishna。当他们放弃躯体的话，他们就能回到 Krishna 那里。
So Krishna said, he's telling Radharani, I have already killed all the demons who were enemies of the Yadus.
Krishna 告诉 Radharani， 我已经杀死了所有那些捣乱的恶魔，他们是亚度王朝的子弟。
And I've killed Kamsa and his supporters.
我也杀掉了康萨和他的支持者。
But there's still 2 or 4 more demons living. I want to kill them.
但是还有2个或4个恶魔活着，我想把他们也杀掉。
And after I do that, then I'm coming back to Vrindavan.
当我完成这件事之后，我就会返回到文达文。
So a devotee of Krishna never likes to leave Vrindavan.
Krishna 的奉献者从来不喜欢离开文达文。
But sometimes for the business of Krishna, he has to go.
但有的时候，为了 Krishna 的事物，完成 Krishna 的事物，他必须要离开。
But after he does his business, does his preaching work, then he comes back to Vrindavan.
但是当他完成了他的事物，完成了他的传播使命，他就又回到文达文。
So Krishna is telling Radharani like that.
所以 Krishna 就是这样告诉 Radharani。
Krishna said, I want to protect the people of Vrindavan from the attacks of my enemies.
Krishna 说：“我希望保护温达文的居民们不受我的敌人的攻击。
That's why I stay in my kingdom, in Dwarka.
正是由于这个原因，我才留在了我的 Dwarka 的王国。
I'm not attached to being the king there.
我并不依附于在成为那里的一位国王。
And whatever wives and children and wealth I have, it's only for the satisfaction of the Yadus.
无论我拥有的妻子、儿子和财富，只是为了亚度王朝的快乐。
But your loving qualities always attract me to Vrindavan.
但是你的可爱的品质总是让我心心向往文达文。
So I'm sure within 10 or 20 days I shall return and I'll be there in Vrindavan.
所以我确信，再过10天或20天，我就会返回到文达文。
And we will enjoy day and night. I will enjoy with you and all the damsels of Vrindavan.
我们就会日日夜夜的享受和文达文的所有的这些女士们享受。
So Krishna was speaking this way, he became very anxious to go to Vrindavan.
当 Krishna 这样说话的时候，他变得非常渴望回到文达文。
And he had a special verse, a special song, which he had Radharani listen to, so that she could understand that Krishna was coming back to her.
所以他就让 Radharani 聆听一首特殊的诗歌，让他明白他会回到Vrindavan。
Krishna told Radharani that devotional service unto me is the only way you can come to me.
Krishna 说，奉献服务是我的奉献服务是真达我的唯一的方式。
And Krishna says, my dear gopis, whatever love and devotion you have for me, this is the only reason for my coming back to you.
我亲爱的牧牛姑娘们，无论你们对我拥有什么样的奉爱之情，这是让我返回到你们身边的唯一理由。
So Lord Caitanya would sit in his room with Swarup Damodar, and day and night they would discuss these different talks between Krishna and Radharani and the gopis.
所以Chaitanya Mahaprabhu 会和 Swarupa Damodar 坐在他的房间里，然后他们日夜的讲授这些 Krishna 与 Radharani 以及 Krishna 和牧牛姑娘之间的话题。
Okay, so maybe we have to... Is there any questions there?
It seems no question now.
No questions, yeah?
Oh, here. Oh, here. There are some questions now.
Oh, okay. Maybe we'll take the questions, yeah.
那现在第一个问题是来自 Yuna 的 Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisance. O glory to Srila Prabhupada. If a devotee is more attracted to Aishwarya and Krishna in Dwarka, but not in Vrindavan, is that normal? And can that mood change? 第一个问题是来自于 Yuna 的说，他说 Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj。 接入卑微礼拜，荣耀归于施乐普拉普哈，所有荣耀归于施乐普拉普哈。倘若一个奉献者更加被博尔卡的富裕和博尔卡的 Krishna 所吸引，而没有被Vrindavan的 Krishna 所吸引，这个是不是正常的？这种心态可不可以改变呢？
Yes, it can be changed. It can change in time.
可以改变，到了一定的时间就改变了。
Some people, however, they worship Krishna in that mood, in the mood of Dwarka.
有些人确实是以 Dwarka 的心态来拜 Krishna 的。
The worship of Krishna in Vrindavan is very confidential.
对 Vrindavan 的 Krishna 的崇拜是极其机密的。
But Lord Caitanya and all of his devotees, they were very attached to the worship of Krishna in Vrindavan.
Chaitanya 以及他的奉献者们都极其依附崇拜 Vrindavan 的 Krishna。
You don't have to go to Vrindavan. There were many great devotees of Lord Caitanya. They never went to Vrindavan.
你不需要亲自去 Vrindavan。如 Chaitanya 的，就是有许多如 Chaitanya 伟大奉献者，他们一生从来没有去过 Vrindavan。
But anyway, you're still a very new devotee. You're not even initiated yet, so you don't have to worry too much about this yet.
无论如何，您还是一位新奉献者，还没有体力，所以不必要过多的考虑这件事情。
Just try to become attached to Krishna, whether Krishna's in Vrindavan or Dwarka. They just want to hear about Krishna.
要努力的去变得依附 Krishna， 无论是 Vrindavan 的 Krishna 还是 Dwarka 的 Krishna， 去聆听有关 Krishna。
Yes.
下一个问题是来自于北京 Center。 Hare Krishna 顶拜 Guru 和所有的奉献者。刚刚 Guru 讲到 Krishna 控制所有感官，而那种种通过控制感官的瑜伽修习是愚蠢的。在佛家梵歌中说，体式瑜伽是为愚蠢的人准备的。实际上，更多的体式瑜伽的修习是否可以帮助人们进入 Krishna 世界中呢？ Questions from 正义。Hare Krishna, obeisance to Guru and all devotees from Beijing Center. Hare Krishna, obeisance to Guru and all devotees. Just now, Guru mentioned that Krishna controls all senses, and that yoga practice that try to control senses, it is very foolish. In Bhagavad Gita, it is said that the Ashtanga yoga is for those foolish people. And the time more Ashtanga yoga practice, whether they can help people to enter into Krishna consciousness.
Yes, they can.
可以，他们可以帮助。
Because if they do Ashtanga yoga, if they do it properly, then they follow the rules and regulations. You know, in the beginning of Ashtanga yoga, there is yam and niyam, so that is like the regulative principles. So that's good. It makes them pious, and it makes them qualified to get the mercy of a devotee.
再就是体式瑜伽。 阿斯汤的瑜伽当中呢，也有规则，一开始就强调了亚玛尼亚玛规范的原则。那么这个是很好的，它可以帮助人积累虔诚，使得他们有资格获得一位奉献者的仁慈。
Without the mercy of a devotee, they won't come into devotional service.
没有奉献者的仁慈，他们是不能进入 Krishna 之觉。
But Ashtanga yoga is a good, it helps them to get control over the mind and senses, and that's, in the beginning, that's helpful.
并且Ashtanga yoga 这种瑜伽，阿瑜伽可以帮助人们控制他们的感官以及心意，所以是在一开始就是对人们是有注意的。
But we were speaking about the Gopis of Vrndavan, and the Gopis of Vrndavan, they're on the highest platform of bhakti yoga, that they're totally absorbed in Krishna. So for them to control the mind and senses is not necessary.
我们在课程当中呢，谈论的都是文达文的牧牛姑娘们，她们处在动爱瑜伽的最高层面，她们的心意是全然贯注于 Krishna， 所以对他们来说，控制感官这是没有必要的。
They're already very, very advanced. They naturally control their mind and senses. They use their mind and senses only for Krishna's service.
他们已经是非常进步了的，他们是自然而然地控制了他们的感官和心意，而且他们的感官心意只是为了服务 Krishna。
So to tell them to control their senses, it's foolish.
所以告诉牧牛姑娘们要控制感官是非常愚蠢的。
Because they're very, very advanced devotees.
因为牧牛姑娘是极其进步的奉献者。
Just like Prabhupada, you know, if you were going to meet Prabhupada and you said to Prabhupada, don't take tea or coffee. You know, Prabhupada, don't eat meat. Of course Prabhupada's not going to eat meat, you know, he never ate it.
政府也是好比你遇见 Prabhupada， 你跟他说 Prabhupada， 你可不要喝茶或者喝咖啡，也不要吃肉。圣Prabhupada的一生当中从来没有吃过肉。
Okay?
There's more question.
All right.
下一个是 Harini。主柴坦亚跳舞时唱诵着牧牛姑娘的祷文。我们在神像前跳舞，也能唱诵祷文吗？应该唱诵什么祷文呢？ When Lord Chaitanya dances, he sings the prayer of those gopis. And we also sing the prayers when we are dancing in front of the deities. So what kind of prayer should we chant?
We should chant the Hare Krishna mantra.
我们应当唱诵 Hare Krishna 曼陀罗。
We cannot be like Lord Chaitanya. We're not so advanced as Lord Chaitanya.
我们不可能像主柴坦亚那样，我们并不像主柴坦亚那么进步。
But Prabhupada taught us to chant Hare Krishna mantra.
觉得 Prabhupada 告诉我们要唱诵 Hare Krishna 曼陀罗 mantra。
And we have also the Gora Arti in the evening. We sing Gora Arti song.
我们晚上有 Gaur Arti， 给主柴坦亚的司仪，我们也唱诵那个祷文。
So we have nice songs to sing. We have the songs of Bhaktivinoda Thakur.
所以我们有很优美的 Bhaktivinoda Thakur 的祷文可以咏唱。
Sing these songs.
所以请您唱诵这些祷文。
Yeah?
下一个问题是，冒险王，顶拜咕噜，可以多介绍一下加格纳的吗？了解的比较少。冒险王 said that he paid a visit to you and she would like you to introduce more about Lord Jagannath because he knew very little about Lord Jagannath.
Well, Lord Jagannath is the Lord of the universe. It's a form of Krishna.
加格纳的是宇宙之主，它是主 Krishna 的一个形体。
It's a very special form. Lord Chaitanya used to live in Jagannath Puri, where Lord Jagannath is worshipped, and every day he would go to see Lord Jagannath in the temple.
主 Chaitanya 居住在加格纳的 Puri 的时候，他每天都会去庙里头去觐见主加格纳，崇拜加格纳。
So Srila Prabhupada, when he was a young man, and from his childhood, he had been devoted to Jagannath.
当施了 Prabhupada 还是个年轻的时候，他从小就是主加格纳的一位奉献者。
And so when he went to America, then they also started to worship Jagannath, and Prabhupada told them they could do Rathayatra festival.
当施了 Prabhupada 去了美国之后呢，奉献者们开始崇拜了主加格纳，然后Prabhupada 就告诉奉献者们可以为他举办弹车节。
So Lord Jagannath is very nice form for devotees to worship. It's the form of the Lord in wood. The deity of Lord Jagannath is made from wood.
崇拜，对于奉献者而言，加格纳的是一个很好的崇拜形象。加格纳的是主的木质形象。
So the wood is spiritual because it's in the form of Lord Jagannath. Because it's the form of Lord Jagannath, it's not ordinary wood anymore, it becomes spiritual.
那这个木头已经是灵性化的，因为它是主加格纳的一个形象，所以它不再是普通的木头，它已经是灵性的了。
So Lord Jagannath represents Krishna, Lord Balaram represents the Guru, and Subhadra Maharani represents Yogamaya.
主加格纳的是代表了主 Krishna， 巴拉代瓦就代表了侮辱，而苏巴的玛拉尼代表了
Yogamaya. Yeah. Okay, next question.
Next question. Next question is from Harini. 不是这，请听我的准备。下个问题是许凤啊，感恩您的回答。Harini said that the question is from Xu Feng, Mother. Thank you for your answer. And the next question is from 王淑莹，明白故事可以讲讲为什么要做四月苦行吗 ？Can you explain why we should follow the Chaturmasya as the austerity of Chaturmasya?
Yes, we should follow the austerity of Chaturmasya because austerity is necessary for everyone who wants to go back to Godhead. We have to purify our mind and senses. And the way to purify mind and senses is by accepting some austerity.
所以四月苦行，是有必要的。对于那些想要回归神手的来说，想要回归神手的人，他们是有必要的，因为它可以净化感官、净化心意。我们就需要去接受苦行。
So we have a minimum austerity, Chaturmasya. We don't do a very great austerity, but a little austerity is good for us. Just like this month we're fasting from milk.
所以我们有最基本的苦行，这些苦行并不是特别的了不起的巨大的苦行，它只是一点小小的苦行，对我们有好处。那么这个月呢，这个就是戒食牛奶。
And then next month, the month of Kartik, we should not take any high protein food.
下个月是Kartika月，在下一个月当中，我们不应当进食高蛋白的食物。
Things like soya.
比如说黄豆。
These things we don't take in the month of Kartik.
我们在4月Kartika月当中不吃黄豆，不吃这些高蛋白的食物。
Okay, and during the Chaturmasya, when we're doing austerity, we should do more hearing and chanting.
那在4月苦行期间呢，我们应当更多的去从事于聆听以及唱诵。
Okay, 下一个问题。
下一个小仆人，请问我们对自身奉献者身份的认同是躯体化概念不 ？So our identification with we think that we are devotees. We identified ourselves as devotees. Is that also a Vedic conception of life?
Well, that is a spiritual designation.
那是灵性的身份。
But we're trying to become devotees. We're not devotees yet. We're still trying to become devotees.
我们是在努力的成为奉献者，我们还不是奉献者呢，我们是在努力的去当奉献者。
And the more we advance, the more we will understand I'm not really a devotee. I'm still a long way from becoming a devotee.
我们越进步，我们就越认识到我们不是真的奉献者，我们离奉献者还有很远的距离。下一个来自于金陵玉顶拜部，感谢您。有位法部想托庇您，有个困惑的问题，是否需要在托庇前已经遵守了4项原则，比如因为工作场合喝酒，有 奉献者建议Holy Guru 会给予训示和力量戒酒，但这是不是很冒犯呢？So this Madhya said that there is a Prabhu who wants to take shelter from you, but there is a problem. The problem is that whether this Prabhu has to follow all four regulated principles before he can take shelter of you. For example, because he had his job and he has to drink wine in some cases. Some devotees suggest that after taking shelter of the Guru can give the instruction and the power that he can get rid of the habit. He will no longer drink wine. So is it an offense?
Well, we don't give shelter until people follow the four principles.
我们是不会在人们已经遵守了，不是，除非人们已经遵守了4项原则，否则是不会给予他，就是不会，就是给他货币的。
So first you follow the four principles, and then you can take shelter.
首先，他得遵守4项规范原则，然后他可以货币。
Now, Srila Prabhupada, he met one man, and one man told him, he said, you know, I like Krishna, but I also like wine.
这个帕帕有一次遇到一位男子，这位男子就对帕帕的坦言说：“我很喜欢 Krishna， 同时我也喜欢喝酒。”
So Prabhupada told him, he said, no, when you drink the wine, you should think this wine is the taste of Krishna.
这个帕帕就告诉他说：“那当您喝酒的时候，您应该想着。” 这酒的滋味就是 Krishna.
And if you think of Krishna more, then gradually you will stop drinking wine.
如果你能这样的，你越想着 Krishna， 你越多的想着 Krishna， 那么你会停止喝酒了。
So sometimes these jobs, sometimes you have these problems. You have to come up with some good reason why you cannot drink wine. You have to say that I am having some health problem that the doctor told me I have to be very careful not to drink wine. It's not good for my intestines.
那么，在工作场合就遇到这个喝酒的问题的时候呢，这个卡布他可以举出很充分的理由，告诉人们他为什么不能喝酒。比如说他说我现在不能喝酒，因为我的医生呢告诉我说，我的医生告诉我，为了健康的原因呢，医生告诉我要小心不要喝酒，因为这对我的肠胃不好。
Yes, you just have to be a little intelligent and think carefully how to get away from these bad habits.
所以就需要动点脑筋，用智慧来好好想想办法，来戒掉这个坏习惯、恶习。
If you have a serious desire to come to Krishna consciousness, then you won't let a little thing like wine stop you. You'll get rid of that wine.
如果一个人他是真诚的渴求 Krishna 知觉的话，那么他不会让喝酒这点小事儿阻止他在 Krishna 知觉当中进步。
So this is my instructions to you.
所以这个就是 Guru 给这位法布的训示。
Okay. Any more questions?
Yes. 下一个是小仆人。如果觉得自己是奉献者的，我们做的再不好，也比非奉献者好，这是灵性的认知，还是躯体化概念下的愚昧呢？ if we think that we are already devotees, and whatever happens, that we are better than non-devotees, no matter whether we do good or bad. Even we are not so excellent, we are better than non-devotees. So is this a spiritual understanding or an ignorance out of the bodily concept of life?
Well, we want to be careful. We want to think that actually I'm a fallen soul.
我们应当就是小心。
Don't think.
我们应当认为我们实际上还是堕落的灵魂。
Don't think we're better than others, but we should think somehow we are very fortunate to have the mercy of Krishna's devotees.
不要认为我们就比别人强，我们强过别人。那我们应当这样思维，我们的思维应当是我们太幸运了，因为我们得到了 Krishna 的仁慈，得到了 Krishna 的奉献者的仁慈。
And remember, before we became devotees, we were not any different from all the other people.
千万不要忘了，在我们成做奉献者之前，我们跟别的人都没有区别。
So we should see Krishna in everyone's heart.
所以我们应当在众生的心中都看到 Krishna。
And somehow we've been fortunate, we got mercy of the pure devotees.
无论如何，不知怎的，我们就特别幸运的得到了 Krishna 的纯粹奉献者的仁慈了。
Okay.
下一个问题 ，Shama Sakti Hare Krishna 明白 Gurudeva 和所有奉献者。Shiva 说，最崇高的崇拜是崇拜主 Vishnu， 比崇拜主 Vishnu 更好的崇拜他的奉献者。我们把心意专注在主 Krishna 纯粹奉献者身上，听从他的信使和教导，也源于每一个人的心愿不同。这种专注和专注于 Krishna 的结果有什么区别？Hare Krishna, obeisance to Gurudeva and all devotees. Lord Shiva said that the highest worship is worship Lord Vishnu, but the higher than worship of Lord Vishnu is worship his devotee. If we concentrate our mind on pure devotee of Lord Krishna and follow his instruction and teaching, so it is also due to different desire of each one. So so what's the difference between this concentration and concentrate our mind on Krishna? What's the difference of the result?
No difference.
没有区别。
If you concentrate on the devotees in relation to Krishna, they will also bring you to Krishna.
如果您把心意专注在 Krishna 的奉献者身上呢，那么 Krishna 的奉献者会把您就带到 Krishna 那里。
But we should understand the devotees of Krishna are more merciful than Krishna.
同时，我们也要明白，就是 Krishna 的奉献者比 Krishna 本人还要仁慈。
It's very difficult to go to Krishna directly. We cannot go to Krishna directly. We have to go through his devotees.
要想直接接近 Krishna 是很难的，就是无法直接接近 Krishna， 只有透过 Krishna 的奉献者才可以。
Okay.
金灵玉 said, and then we paid our visit to you. Okay, that's all the question.
Oh, very good. So thank you so much, Guru Mani, for your wonderful translation. And thank all the devotees.
Oh, here is a thing. Here talked about a question. That's it. 我们怎样才能理解Caitanya展示的狂喜的特征？不理解的情况下，怎样能培养？ How can we understand the symptom of the ecstatic symptom of Lord Caitanya? So in the case that we don't understand, how can we cultivate?
Well, we have to hear. We have to hear about the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. We have to hear the descriptions as they're given also in the Nectar of Devotion.
我们需要聆听Caitanya标示光，就是这个是在奉爱的汤语当中描述了的。
If you read the Nectar of Devotion, many examples are given how different situations, different qualities of Krishna, they cause ecstasy in the devotees.
在奉爱的甘露书当中，这部经典就有了很多的例子，就是在什么样的情况下，然后 Krishna 有哪些品质会引起奉献者展示出狂喜。
So gradually, as we go on, we practice devotional service. We will also one day, maybe not in this lifetime, maybe in the future life, maybe, we don't know. But that's the idea, the goal. We come to that stage, we come to where we feel ecstasy in taking part in pastimes with Krishna.
不见得通过修习奉爱服务，也许此生不行，那么来世，无论如何，这是我们的理想，是我们的目标，能达到狂喜的阶段，参加到 Krishna 的消时光当中。
So devotional service in ecstasy is one of the levels. There's 3 levels of devotional service. There's sadhana bhakti, which is devotional service in practice. And then there's bhava bhakti, devotional service in ecstasy. And then above bhava bhakti is prema bhakti, devotional service in love of God.
奉献服务分成3个阶段，一个阶段是 sadhana bhakti 修习的阶段的奉爱服务，其次是 bhava bhakti 是狂喜阶段的奉爱服务，第3个阶段是 prema bhakti 是在对 Krishna 的爱的当中的奉爱服务。
So we want to come to the higher levels of devotional service one day.
我们希望终究有一天能够真达奉献服务的更高的层面。
And we want to be able to recognize it. If we see it in others, we should know what is genuine devotion.
我们也希望能够认出其他人身上的真正的奉爱。
Sometimes we would see Srila Prabhupada in ecstasy.
有时候我们看到了施了 Prabhupada 他展示出了狂喜。
Okay.
She said she would ask that how to cultivate the taste of hearing in the yes.
How to what?
Cultivate the taste, the rasa, the taste of hearing, listening, under the circumstances that we still cannot understand.
Well, we have to be patient and determined and enthusiastic. You have to have these kind of qualities, and this will help you to hear.
那需要有耐心、决心、热情这些品质，可以帮助聆听。
It will take time, but you have to be eager for that. You should want to understand more about the ecstasies which are there in devotional service.
这个是需要花时间的，但是呢，但是仍然要渴望去想要明白奉爱服务当中的狂喜情。
So we want to hear about the wonderful devotees in Krishna consciousness and how they experienced ecstasy.
所以呢，您就是希望能够理解那些 Krishna 知觉那些美妙的奉献者，他们是怎样的一种体验。
It's very good for us. It helps us to develop stronger faith in Krishna consciousness.
所以这个对我们来说是很好的，因为可以帮助我们在 Krishna 知觉当中发展起信心。
Yeah?
Yes, that's all.
Okay. So we'll thank you very much, Guru Mani. Thank all the devotees for their questions and for listening. And we'll be back tomorrow.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Srila Prabhupada ki.
非常感谢 Guru 你Srila Maharaj 给我们带来的讲课，也感谢所有奉献者的耐心聆听和提出的好问题。那祝大家有一个很好的 Krishna 知觉的夜晚。Hare Krishna.
Recording stopped.